we will see large numbers of poor people and specifically blacks going to jail and to prison, and they will not have a chance.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's time for another video. This time, I'll be switching it up. I'll be doing something different instead of the regular video where I interview a homeless person on the street. This time, I'll be showing you 3 different videos. One, which will be the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, and what he says he's going to do to homeless people. The second one is going to be a small town in Oregon, Grants Pass, and I'm going to show you this video and explain to you what the government there is doing to the homeless population there. The third video is going to be of New York City and talk about what the government there is doing to the homeless using what is called hostile architect. After that, I'll make a little commentary and do a little discussion. We're going to dive right into it. I'm going to start with the first one with our former commander-in-chief, Donald Trump.
Ban urban camping wherever possible. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated. Many of them don't want that, but we'll give them the option. We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land, bring in doctors, psychiatrists, social workers, and drug rehab specialists, and create tent cities where the homeless can be relocated and their problems identified. But we'll open up our cities again, make them livable and make them beautiful. We'll ban urban camp.
So, what do you think? Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Say, all except for the part of banning the urban camping and arresting people. The part about bringing in the psychiatrist, the therapist, and bringing in the doctors and all that, that sounds like a plan. And it seems like that should be done first before you start to arrest people and putting them in tent cities on parcels of land and all that. But hey, what do I know? I mean, hey, evidently he has the power to do this or whatever. Um, what what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. When he was talking, it brought to my mind when he said tent city, a documentary that I watched on Netflix, and it was a sheriff had overcrowding in his jail, so he had his prisoners in tents, and I think it was in Arizona somewhere, New Mexico, Arizona, somewhere like that, and yeah, he had his prisoners in tents outside in Arizona. Now, that to me, when he said that, also reminded me of gentrification. Gentrification is when you displace the occupants of one area with other people. And pretty much that's what he's saying. He's saying that the people who are here, Now, they're homeless, but if they're in that area, more than likely they're there because they have no other place to go. And many of them, as you'll see in Grand Pass, were occupants of these cities. And they lost their houses through foreclosures and things like that. So they start to stay in the parks and things of this nature. And when they start to stay in the parks, then the government and the city officials start to arrest them and move them along or rouse them and have them go other place from park to park. They let them stay there a few days and they rouse them. And what President Trump is talking about is buying cheap land, and I doubt if it's in the inner city. It's going to be probably on the outskirts of town, and he's going to arrest them first. Then he's going to put them in these tent cities, and then he's going to try to help them. One thing he did say that I agree with him, there are going to be a lot of them that are not going to want help. I mean, that's just the reality of it. The reality of it is everybody out there does not want help. Some folks are satisfied with it. Some folks are just not ready. That's reality. Some folks all have to hit a sufficient enough bottom, especially if they are hooked on drugs. Then if you're dealing with a mental illness, that's something totally different. So how do we deal with that? How do you bunch mental illness in with drugs? And then you also take somebody who has hit a rough patch in their life, like lost their job, or an elderly person who just can't pay their bills, and you just bunch them all together. See, that's like a one solution for all, and that's not going to work it out. And this problem is only going to get worse. And that type of thinking, where they just want to stick a Band-Aid on it, is going to make it spiral out. But I'm going to show you in this next clip what they're doing to the homeless in this one town. But on the second section, there is a county over that has already started on the solution. So let's get to the second video. And this is the Grass Pass.
The homelessness epidemic is inescapable. Enforcing its ban on homeless people.
Is there nowhere else to go? Is there just nowhere else that they want to go?
Our city deserves to hold people accountable to bad behavior. Voters fed up with rising homelessness. Clear them out.
The push to ship out, arrest, and get home.
I had to stop that. He said, hold people accountable for bad behavior. Trying to survive bad behavior. Bad behavior. I'm just trying to survive bad behavior. I know, I get it. It's an eyesore. It kills curb appeal. It does. It does. It does. It does. But that's why somebody has to take accountability and do like the people are doing in this next section that I'm going to show you.
Homeless people out of sight is gaining alarming support across the U.S.
Criminalizing sleeping in public spaces.
And in the coming months, protections against criminalization may be overturned in the Supreme Court.
Do I
protect myself from the elements and risk going to jail, or do I not and risk hypothermia and dying?
So is it cruel and unusual punishment? The Supreme Court will tackle that question.
At the center is a small town in Oregon.
Grants Pass.
Invisible People founder Mark Horvath investigates what's really going on in Grants Pass right now.
We get a ticket just for trying to live.
30. Also, I want to make this one point. This is crucial because this case is going to the Supreme Court, and this case is going to set a precedent. If it is decided that they can do this, then it is going to spread like wildfire across the country. They will do it all across the country. Yes, they will.
Citations in a year and a half.
I've been in jail 5 times just this year.
So this park is probably the most controversial.
They hit me with a stick. They wanted to drag them out and beat them.
Families out here sleeping in tents.
Because this ruling will determine whether cities can arrest homeless people across the country.
If that's allowed, many cities will try to run all of the homeless people out of their community.
The stakes can be higher.
We will ban urban camping. Violators of these bans will be arrested. We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land where the homeless can be relocated.
Rather than addressing the structural inequities causing homelessness, many politicians from both parties and at all levels ignore proven solutions to homelessness, opting instead for a punitive response that will only make homelessness worse and hurt all of us. Criminalization punishes the one group of people who have no power to fix the crisis.
The DPPD had my stuff thrown away, and in one of my totes was my son's urn. My son's forever gone, and I only have a piece of him, an urn necklace that I keep dear to my heart, like, that's things I can't get back. It makes it really hard to want to keep going on. All I can say to people is, don't forget what it is to be human. Be kind. We're all just trying to survive.
If your issue is that Black Lives Matter, if you care about the experience of LGBTQ people, if you care about people living with disabilities, if you care about the elderly, all of these traditionally marginalized communities are going to be impacted. If those are your issues, this is your issue.
We knew we had to go where it all started, and with the boots on the ground, we met up with co-founder of Mint, the mobile integrated navigation team, who does outreach and bridges the gap for the houseless in Josephine County.
Good morning, sunshine. Did you take your medicine?
That water.
Do you need water? I'll grab you some water, okay? You're welcome. Homelessness in Grants Pass. We're seeing new people each week out here. A lot of elderly who are being forced out of their home, foreclosures, etc. A lot of them have been out here for a long time. There are people out here being ticketed to move their tent site when the city hasn't given them an alternative solution to be able to be that safe. There are no affordable housing or low barrier shelters, and rent keeps going up and up. And so we're seeing more and more folks having to live in the parks or in parking lots with.
Did you hear it? Rent keeps going up and up. There are no low barrier shelters. Nothing is in place. They have nothing in place. People do not plan to fail. They fail to plan. Let's plan, folks. Let's get it going now. Let's do this now. Let's do what these next people are doing.
Their cars, that's where the city's kind of designated places for them right now.
But even in these designated areas, they must move to a new park every 3 or 5 days. And even then, once they settle back in, they're often still not left in peace.
The cops give us tickets for any reason they can find. Scattering rubbish, being in the buffer zone, tent being too big, like you name it, I've gotten a ticket for it. I got my notice this morning. I have to move. Having to move every week is ridiculous in itself.
And not only with that, that's taking up man hours for police. We got too big of a problem here in Memphis to even deal with that. Why would we want them to be dealing with that when we have issues with people being killed on a daily basis, people being robbed, stores being smashed? I mean, wow. Okay. I'm going to advance it a little bit to get to the story with the other county here that is actually doing something different.
Parks and on a path out of homelessness. So we started with apartments.
A place to go alternative.
Full attention, shelter, that's a cost.
Josephine County had the opportunity to declare our county a homeless state of emergency and get funding from the state, and our county decided that there wasn't an emergency. I think they're realizing that they were wrong.
Well, if you had the funding, what would you do?
Low barrier shelters, urban campgrounds. I mean, I think that's the first, foremost in navigation centers. They need a place to go alternative to the parks where they can get wraparound services. And I do believe I'm pretty in tune with this community, and I think they'll use it. I'm confident they'd use an urban campground or a low barrier shelter. When we opened our emergency shelter, we had max capacity of 49 and it was full every night, so that speaks to the desire to be indoors.
We are in Medford, a neighboring city right next to Grants Pass. Medford has partnered with nonprofits to create solutions to get people out of the parks and on a path out of homelessness. So we started with apartments. We have some group housing. We have low barrier programs, including a congregate shelter, medical respite program, both in the congregate shelter and also at a hotel. The idea is to meet people where they are and then help them take that first step in the direction that they want to go. Everything's optional. And then bring those barriers down and then offer people support. So it's site management, 24/7, case management, and peer support specialty to help people connect the dots in their life according to their plan for success. I've seen what happens when a community embraces change and looks to have kind of progressive tools to give people those steps out of homelessness. Because you can't criminalize poverty away and you can't criminalize homelessness away, recognizing that the lowest point in someone's life doesn't define who they are. And depending on the program level that we're looking at, we've got between a 25 and a 65% success metric for people who are progressing to the next step of independence. We've looked at other communities that are showing, especially when somebody is unsheltered homeless, that go into drug and alcohol treatment, if they're discharged back to the same environment that they were in before, you see metrics ranging from 0 to 2%, maybe 10 or 15%, depending on the program. And so even our low barrier program showing 25, 35% success rates. That's tremendous.
And you allow dogs.
We allow dogs.
All animals.
And all these units have heat and AC and lights and a power outlet and all that fun stuff.
Wow.
Grants Pass is in the same place right now, I think, that Medford may have been in 10 or 15 years ago. A decade ago, Medford was very concerned about what would happen if a program like Rope Retreat opened something like a transitional housing tiny house.
You see? 10 or 15 years ago. Start now, fruition comes about. Takes time. There are people who are further ahead. Like, for instance, you have Calvary Cross, you have Union Mission, you have all of these different people in Memphis who are doing different things. Just imagine if they joined forces, if it was a coalition, if they worked together, if they formed something, if man, if they ask for land from the city, if they ask for a nominal conveyance from the city, Michael Adrian Davis has the hotel over Old Casey Motel. It's a over on Elvis Presley. It's just sitting there. I don't know what he's gonna do with it. But places like that, man, that are just sitting vacant man, that's what you use, and you go out and you ask people to donate labor, you ask people to donate material, you ask people to donate time, go out there and clean it up. You ask the lawn service, go out there and everything, man. Michael Aiden Davis, you donate that property, you know what I'm saying, for the homeless. We're not asking you to give it to us, but let us use it. Then I'll do the leg work. I'll do the leg work. I'll go out there and hey, you on a lawn service, man, go out there and you donate a little time to clean it up. We need resources, man, and we need to start doing it now. But basically, I wanted to do this, and I'm gonna do a part 2 because Finland is a country that's got the lowest homeless rate it is. So I'm gonna do a part 2 with Finland, and then there are a couple of other videos with this guy here that is actually going around. The one who was talking to this gentleman here, the Invisible People project. He's over that. He has that non-profit, so he's did a couple other ones. And then I actually want to show you a video of what Donald Trump said to the governor of California about the homeless situation there. I'll say one thing about Trump. He's bold, and he really addresses a lot of things and says a lot of things that may need to be said. Now, this is not a political channel at all. I'm not political. I'm not right wing or left wing. But I will say this: whether you're right wing or whether you're left wing, it's the same bird. It is. What we need to be concerned about is not whether we're right wing or whether we're left wing. We need to be concerned about whether that bird is doing what we need it to do for the whole, whether it is addressing the issues that we need them to address, not what they're trying to push us or trying to show us. These are the hot button issues. No, they're trying to get us to look and see what the hot button issues are. And I think a lot of times, that's what we look at. We look at what they're telling us the hot button issues are, and we really miss things like this that are really hot button issues, like homelessness, man. And crime is a hot button issue, but crime is, a lot of crime is due to things like this, man. Homelessness and high food prices, and you just gotta think of the cost, the causes of it. You gotta get to the root cause of it and everything. So I do appreciate you guys for everything y'all do and everything. I definitely appreciate it. I would ask you to keep liking, subscribing, keep doing the things you do, keep sharing, keep growing my channel, and also keep commenting. I will put a lot of these in the comment section where you can go and look at these for yourself. So definitely look out for number 2. Now, I got a lot of other things that's up and coming. There is a homeless breakfast, September the 2nd. there's a gun buyback and expungement clinic on September the 21st, and both of those is with Adrian Davis. He's a guy that's doing a lot for the homeless. I will be doing a interview with Dennis Rutledge. He's the director of the Calvary Mission over on South 3rd. I plan to actually go and do a ride along and a feeding with the Anointed Praise Ministry on their bus on the 4th Sunday that's coming up. Also, I plan to do a something at the Union Mission. I met a guy at the Seventh-day Adventist Church down there off of New Horn Lake Road, where they give away food at, and he invited me to. He said he goes and speaks, and he invited me. So I plan to try to go and talk to the guys at the homeless shelter there. So I plan to do a lot of things, and I plan to take some videos of it and post it. So just be on the lookout for it, man. And trying to get the word out and get the views up, get the likes up. So smash that like and subscribe button, man. Tell your friends about it. Tell them to subscribe to the channel. Let's get these likes up. Let's I'm gonna try to talk to the director. I think she's the director over at MIFA, Mrs. Phyllis Williams. I've been knowing Mrs. Williams a long time. She'll talk to me. I want to talk to a lot of the people who take care of the homeless or take care of or who feed people in Memphis, not just the homeless. I want to talk to the homeless too, and a lot of the mental ill people, but I also want to talk to the people who take care of the mental ill people, people who take care of the homeless people, people who feed people like that. And the more and more I can do it, I'm trying to collaborate with some of the chefs because I deliver a lot of knives to a bunch of food service places, and I've been talking to a lot of chefs, and they said that they like to feed the homeless. So I'm trying to get with them to see. Okay, let's do. If you guys feed the homeless, I'll film it. I'll put it on my channel. So if they do, I'll let you guys know about that, man. But until next time, as always, man, fair wind, falling seas, man. Thank you for each and everything you do. I do appreciate it. It doesn't go unnoticed. Just keep on doing what you're doing, and I will talk to you guys next time. All right? Thanks. On the third video, just want you to take a look at it, a few minutes of it, just to see how some states, namely NYC and this one, New York City, is using what's called hostile architecture or anti-homeless architecture to dissuade homeless people from sleeping or being in certain areas. So we're going to take a look at that.
What the heck are are these things, and why are there 5 of them?
The goal was to prevent homeless from sleeping under this bridge. Instead, it backlashed with outrage from the town.
Armrests in the middle of benches to large rocks added underneath bridges. Homeless advocates call these designs hostile architecture or anti-homeless.
In London and Paris, you see spikes on windowsills. In D.C., a curved bench.
Hostile architecture is when cities put features in the architecture to try to keep homeless people away.
Spikes that would hurt people seemed like a bad idea.
So this looks like a metal covering for the subway vent, which is underneath it. At first I thought it was a bench, but you can really only sit on this corner of it. You'll notice that the top of this is incredibly uneven, and then there's these raised ridges which are on all 5 of them. And what happens if you try to lay down on it? Is that even possible? That is like the most uncomfortable thing I've ever experienced. This ridge right here is going into my spine, and that's on purpose, and this is called hostile architecture. And critics of hostile architecture say that usually these types of installations are cruel and unnecessary because they target the needy. And we're going to look at a whole bunch of examples of this. Subway benches that serve no purpose,
and I just wanted to show you a little bit of that. I first seen hostile architecture here in Memphis. Now, it's subtle. I was working on summer, and what they did is they took up the bus terminals that had the covering and the long benches on summer, and they replaced them with the shorter one with the bar in the middle. And then in some areas, like on Poplar and further down Summer, they did the ones with the 2-seat. I haven't seen one that had 2 little round green seats. And I'm thinking, like, why would you do that? I mean, 2 people somewhere where only 2 people could sit, and they could only sit there, and how long would you sit there? I mean, after so long, that would get uncomfortable. So that's just some of the things that the city has done to just dissuade the homeless from hanging around. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. Homelessness is a growing problem. It's not just the alcoholics and addicts and the folks that have mental problems no more. And it's now it's people who are losing their jobs. It's gonna get bigger because in LA, from what I understand, and I've been to California before. Never been to LA, but my sister is actually in LA. From what I understand and what I've seen, only on TV, you have lawyers and you have doctors and you have all walks of life on Skid Row, and that's amazing, man. And that makes you think. I'm like, wow, you got people with all type skills that's out there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we better address it now, man. So.